Welcome back to We Care a Lot Pod. I'm half the pod, Sam.
I'm the other half, Mel.
I said pod a lot. You should take a
Pod
shot every
and
time I said
pod.
pod. Oh, God. Well, welcome back. Today, we actually aren't living that life where we've been consecutively not seeing each other for a really long period of time.
Just
Saw each other yesterday.
Yep.
So, you know what?
Life is fluid, you know?
Maybe we'll be flowing just more today. Today we want to talk about eating intuitively and what that looks like for us.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's the whole point of eating intuitive.
I feel like it's been a fucking, like a concept that's just continuously thrown around, like, on the internet. And it's like, what does it even really mean?
Well, that's the thing is it means, like, nothing.
It means nothing.
It's like, eat what you want. Eat what feels good.
Like, okay, I was doing that before, and then y'all were mad at me.
Like,
telling me I was fat.
Yeah. It's like, there's a lot that goes into it, I think. I mean, there's probably, like, a really proper way of doing it. I don't know the exact, nutritional expert advice. I have my own advice.
So do I. So we'll see if it aligns at all.
If you're here for it.
Will.
Maybe you have different advice, and we'd love to hear it. Maybe we're doing it all wrong.
Probably.
So I feel like this concept comes about, number one, because it's summer. It's time to be in a bikini again, time to be posting on the gram, half naked. It's hot. You just
You're
feel
wearing
uncomfortable.
less clothes. It's just...
Yeah. I think yesterday was our first, like, real hot day in June.
Mm-hmm.
And
June gloom was real.
Yeah.
As fuck this year.
I hope it's over. I feel like it is.
I think it is. I'm hoping. It seems like a gradual increase in temperature at the moment, so we'll see.
Yeah. So, it's just uncomfortable when you're hot and you just feel like, not gross, but do you know what I mean? Like, you just feel like uncomfy in your skin a little when it gets warmer.
I'm probably gonna get clocked for how I say this, but I like the way that I can like express it, and I do express it, is like I feel heavy. Not in like a I'm big or fat or anything. It's just more so like I just feel like sluggish and just like like everything is just too much right now to like carry around, and that comes from what I'm eating for sure, and also like the exercise amount that I like do or whatever. I just feel like when I am eating quote unquote intuitively and I'm exercising my body and I'm like moving around, I feel a lot better and a lot more like just ready for any type of situation, versus right now I'm feeling just, heavy is all I can say. I feel heavy.
It's like not even that you maybe look drastically different, you just feel drastically different.
Right.
Like when you're eating intuitively. Just gonna keep saying it. And exercising as much as you want, or like whatever feels good to you. Which I'm like, is exercising intuitively a fucking thing?
I think so.
I'm living intuitively.
My whole life's intuitive.
That's basically it though. Like we always have to complicate things as a generation. I mean, it's nice in a non-complicated way of being like, let's put a little bow on it.
A little bow on it.
Let's name it something so that I can be like, no, I've just like been eating really intuitively lately.
That's all I've been really doing.
You know what I mean? Like instead of just saying,
instead of just being like, yeah, I've been a little more structured with what I eat.
Yeah.
Just eating healthier foods or like
no.
more vegetables.
Because like someone could say they're eating intuitively, and that could just mean I'm eating dessert every night because it feels good.
Period.
Well,
I will say though, I woke up exhausted.
Me too.
Dude, I think we're allergic to sugar, or we're getting old is what is happening.
I don't.
Good for you, because it's like scientific fact for me at this point, because like every time I have sugar, especially at night, the next day I feel like it's impossible to fucking wake up.
I don't like that.
Like, it was impossible this morning.
I didn't wake up till like 9 today. So.
I set an alarm for like 6:45, and I was like, for sure, dude. Woke up and I was like, I had set another one for 7. I was like, I'm just gonna let the 7 one go. And then I woke up, and then Logan was like still like knocked the hell out and didn't even hear it. And I was like, hey, do you want to wake up, or like do you want to sleep till 7:30? And she's like, I have to get up already. And I was like, I'll walk Harley, don't worry, because I wanted extra sleep. So then we woke up at 7:30. But it was so hard, dude. Like, I could not open my fucking eyes. It was just bad.
No, yeah, I couldn't wake up. But, like, all we had was a literal mini cookie sandwich.
It was literally mini.
It was literally small.
I had, like, a mini Pizookie.
Yeah.
Why the hell do I feel this tired?
What else did we eat yesterday that was sugary? A June shine?
Yeah. I guess.
Ridiculous. Well, anyways, that's us eating intuitively yesterday. But that's the thing. Okay, rewind. So there's a lot of guilt that comes with eating in general. But I think when you're kind of on a very structured diet, it's like you have shame about indulging or having something that feels indulgent, like dessert.
Yeah.
It's very much like, well, I'm supposed to be eating keto, so I can't have anything that's that, like, remotely or whatever, which, like, I get because keto is that bitch. Like, you really can't.
Yeah, you really can't.
To be in ketosis or whatever the fuck. But I just don't like that. Like, how is that sustainable for your whole life?
It's really not.
Like,
that is the one. I mean, a lot of diets are, like, fad diets, and, like, they won't work, but I think keto for me is just the one that's, like, such a fucking trigger word for me, where I'm like, it's not gonna work for you long term. Like, you're gonna lose a lot of weight, sure, but you'll probably gain it just as fast back when you stop being in ketosis. Well, it's also, like, people get keto fevers. Like, you're literally getting ill.
Well, like you say, with the whole vegan eating is, like, well, maybe you don't say this, but, like, in general, like, every diet is, like, different according to your body's needs, right? Like, even if two people are vegan, it looks different for them.
But you're putting your body through, like, flight or fight mode in ketosis.
They be
and that's because
skinny, I guess.
But there's no, like, larger benefit besides losing weight with keto. You get what I'm saying?
I don't know enough about keto.
Well, I do, because I feel like a couple people in my life have been keto, and they've all gotten really fucking sick.
Really? My mom was doing keto years, and she didn't get sick. Did
she do it for a long time?
I mean, so that's the thing. Now she just intuitively eats and doesn't eat carbs. She'll eat keto alternatives.
That's fine.
You know what I mean? But she's not, like, with the goal of being, like, in ketosis super seriously.
Right.
My brother does a lot of weird diets. It's a whole lot. But the point being,
that's the one that I'm like, don't even try it, because, like, I just feel like it's fine to eat, like, even with like Whole30. Do you know what that is?
I mean, I've heard of it. I don't know what the actual
like
restrictions are.
I feel like with Whole30 and keto, they're kind of similar, not really, but, like, I feel like those diets are, like, they're not necessarily good for you, but I think it's good to learn about the things that you're eating, because I feel like they teach you what is inside of each thing that you're eating, like ingredients, and, like, the amount of sugars that you're eating in a day. Not to say, like, you should be, like,
counting calories
and, like, extremely vigilant about the things that are in your foods in that way, like, where it's literally hindering you from actually eating.
Yeah.
But I think it's nice to know what you're putting in your body. And, like, I think that's the good points of, like, diets, of, like,
I mean,
understanding foods better, because I feel like I grew up and I was just literally shoveling shit in my mouth, and I did not know.
I mean, we were little,
but it's also, like, those are growing bodies, and we were literally trashing them. And it's fine, because our bodies are growing, and, like, they can, like,
and it's
literally waste it out, like, you know what I mean?
It's like, but now I want to continue eating that way, but...
and it's not gonna work for you anymore.
Yeah. Anyway. No, I think there's a lot to be said about, you know, certain diets,
yeah,
and the shame that comes with them, and just, like, in general, even if you're just setting out a goal of, like, I want to eat healthier, it's easy to fall into the guilt and be like, okay, I'm gonna have one dessert tonight because I'm out with my girls and it's fine, or whatever, or I'm gonna have an extra drink even though it's another however much sugar, I don't know, you know? And it's not even that you're counting what it is, you're just like, I'm doing that, I'm gonna accept that I'm gonna have a drink, which is gonna be, you know, maybe not good for my body, because obviously alcohol's not, but you do that one night, and then the next night you go out, and then the next night you go out,
and then it's a cycle,
and then it's like Monday, you're like, well, I'll just have a glass of wine, and then Tuesday, well, I'll have a dessert tonight. Like, I feel, for me anyway, I feel like I get into that cycle of just, like letting it go and letting the shame kind of just not exist, because I'm like, well, what's one more day?
Yeah, and
or
then, like, it's like it's been 3 weeks and you're like, oh.
And it's also like when you bring home dessert, it's like, well, now I have dessert for a whole week.
I forgot to bring you cookies because I was like, I don't want them in my house.
Sucks to suck. Give them to the neighbors. I don't know.
Dude. I mean, yeah, I feel like getting in that, like, I feel like I've been in that mode for like months now where I'm like, just eat whatever you want. Because like, I think there's like been a lot of things to celebrate lately. And a lot of things that are changing that like not require, but like
that I must
that
eat
happen to have like moments of like communal like eating or drinking. I don't even want to say celebratory because not everything is like a celebration, but like it requires like being together with others. And I don't want to be the person that's like, no, I don't want to like. I mean, of course I can, and maybe I just don't have the fucking like, what's the word?
The boundary with it? I don't know.
The like my like self
the words.
It's not like it's like restriction, but it's like
restraint?
I don't know, maybe.
I don't have the restraint to stop yourself.
Yeah. So anyway, it just gets hard.
I mean, that's the thing too, is life happens, and obviously you don't want to make food a bigger deal, like in those celebratory moments, whatever. Let's say you just made it this big old deal in your head, like, oh my God, I've been eating like this for a month. I can't eat like this. And then you're just like not having fun anymore or something, you know?
Yeah.
So there's like a balance for sure of letting yourself enjoy moments and have fun. But then it does turn into I've been doing this for a really long time. And now I feel like shit. Like, because I haven't been taking care of myself.
Exactly.
That's where it becomes like
So it's like knowing like the balance and limitations with yourself. Not to say to limit yourself necessarily, but
we all need a little self-control.
But that's self-control. There it is. But I don't even want to like talk to myself in a way of like limit yourself to this or like control this. It's more so like, what do I actually want to feel? Mm-hmm. And then, like, do whatever that's gonna, like, whatever's gonna give me that outcome.
Yeah.
And that's more so of, like, intuitive eating for me is, like, okay, you want to celebrate tonight, that's fine. The repercussions might be you have a headache tomorrow or you feel a little bit extra sleepy. If you're okay with that, then that's okay. But you definitely don't want to feel that way for 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Mm-hmm. So let's make sure that you're taking care of yourself so that, like, you can recover from the one thing that happened.
Yeah.
Or, like, you know what I mean? Just be nicer to your body in that way. Mm-hmm. But yeah, restriction is just, I don't like it in my vocabulary.
Yeah. I feel like there's also just, we've talked about routines and stuff. There is something to be said with routines that help that, I think. Because sometimes if I'm not in, like, my goal is to work out 5 times a week. That doesn't mean I'm fucking running marathons every day, you know? It means I'm doing some form of a workout every 5 days of the week or whatever. So for me, if I don't do that, if I say I did 4 days and it's the weekend and I have nothing to do on Sunday, but I just want to lay in bed, I just lay in bed, you know? Like even if Saturday I just like went crazy and ate like shit and blah, blah, blah. Like sometimes, yeah, it can be good to be like, you know what? I am going to work out. Like I'm still going to work out tomorrow. Like I want to feel good. That's why I want to feel good. Not because I want to work off those calories or I want to like, I don't know. Like there's a very like fine line between wanting to feel good and take care of yourself and pushing yourself so hard that your body is actually going to reject it. Like,
yeah, I was going to say there's something to say with like the way that you're feeling about the things that you're doing also really tend to, like, your body tends to like, what's the word? Like, it tends to process it a certain way. And so if you're like not feeling a workout and you're like you're being so against it as you're doing it and you're feeling so like, fuck this shit, I don't want to do this, you're creating like this restraint between you and the possibility of whatever you want it, like the outcome to be. And the same thing with eating. I feel like on a different note, like there's such a science behind like eating in community and having community, like social life around eating. There's been so many like, what do you call them? Like studies done where like people have been looked at who like eat alone and who are like sad and like eat while they're doing those things, like being alone. And then on the opposite side, eat in community eat in like laughter and joy and people having a good time, and they look at the different, like they'll probably be eating the same thing, but the body is processing it differently because you're feeling a certain emotion behind the stuff that's happening around you. So your like environment really matters.
So like depressed eating is kind of like extra bad.
It's extra bad because it's such a, I would like, Logan and I have always said that like eating is such an intimate thing, and so like whatever you're putting in your body and the energy that you're creating within like this the act of eating, you're really like ingesting that shit. And so like if you have such negative feelings or guilt or shame, it's only gonna feel and process like not good.
Like enjoy that cookie
because that's
Don't
what you
feel
want.
bad.
And if you're gonna indulge in what you want to indulge, eat it. And like enjoy
or if you're
it.
eating healthy food, don't be like, oh, it tastes like shit, I hate it and it's so awful. Just like, my body's gonna love me for this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
I mean, maybe don't say that like constantly, but
Yeah,
like,
no.
don't shame yourself. Actually,
My body's gonna love me for this. I'm gonna say that all the time now.
but say it with the good things too that you're eating. You know
No,
what
that's
I
what
mean?
I'm saying. The good things. Yeah. Like the
Take it with
salmon.
everything.
I mean, I love salmon, so that's kind of stupid, but
Well,
what
fire
do I
though.
not
Be
like?
like,
I don't know,
love
like
it.
salad? I mean, it sounds good.
I've been loving salads lately. I don't know why.
Yeah, but I just can't keep the greens alive long enough because I want to buy them all. I'm like, I want kale, I want romaine lettuce, I want iceberg lettuce, and I want spinach, and I want greens, and I want arugula. How am I gonna make one person? What am I supposed to do? What am I supposed to do?
You have to go and get them like every 3 days or some shit. Just like another thing.
Yeah, there it is. And then you don't have the food you want to eat intuitively. I hate that.
And then I eat fucking nothing.
Yeah,
Nasty
or
shit.
nothing, literally.
I had the leftover pasta I made last night for breakfast.
Interesting. A little spicy breakfast.
Spicy. With my coffee.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That's a thing. I'm pretty sure
But I was
Italians
like,
do that.
I'm having an Italian summer. This
My
morning
leftover
is just
pasta.
my leftover pasta. It was a protein pasta, so I was like, even better. Starting my day with some protein.
Full and rested. Slept in. Literally an Italian summer. Fresh.
And then we're having a limoncello drink.
Limoncello for glowing hour. We'll see.
Fucking summer.
We're manifesting an Italian summer. Whether you're in Italy, whatever, and
Also,
listening to this.
How is everyone in Italy right now? Have you noticed that?
People getting married. I'm like, who's having weddings in Italy that people can just
What
go
loans
to?
are you guys taking out to go? Because, like, what is happening?
Someone's, like, just planning their Italian wedding. Like, they're just having a vacation while planning the wedding that's going to be there in a year. I'm like, cool.
Anyway, back to...
Kardashians. Over it.
Back to...
Eating intuitively.
Yeah, the whole social gathering thing, it really fucks me up every time. Because I'm like, I don't... And I need to remind myself when I'm eating, because sometimes I'm just like eating at it like ravenously, where I'm like, I've just been so like hangry all this whole time, and then I'm eating and I'm like, take a chill pill, dude. Enjoy the fact that you're eating and that it's like something you love most of the time. Like, there's no need to have such negative feelings towards like
it's
food.
just hanger really does also play a part. It's like, then you realize it. Like, when you realize that you're not irritated for some other reason, and it's because you're hungry, you're like, it's kind of my bad, isn't it? Why am I taking it out on everyone else? Because I didn't eat.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. I think that kind of hits, like, the guilt aspect anyway.
Yeah.
Like, just don't feel guilt, even if you're maybe in a bad spin of things. And eating intuitively does come with the exercise aspect, unfortunately.
It does. It's a full like
360.
360.
Yeah. It's all encompassing.
For sure.
Our diets specifically. I think I'm pretty much non-dairy and I'll eat plant-based in general. I wouldn't call myself plant-based because I wouldn't. Majority of my meals are not plant-based.
But you're open to being.
But yeah,
to, like,
I mean, at
eating
Coachella, I
plant-based.
had a vegan burrito instead of whatever 8 million other things that were at Coachella.
Yeah.
Because I was like,
It's just like if it sounds good, you're like,
yeah, I'm like, there's no other Mexican spot. I'm the vegan one.
yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I follow that rule. But lately, I've been eating cheese. Cheese is hard. It's cheese.
It's a difficult one.
Milk, I don't give a fuck. I really could never
care
go back to
less.
that.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Unless it's in like dessert, I feel like you're
Oh,
the
yeah.
person who puts like heavy whipping cream and
yeah.
shit, and like it's fine.
yeah, but there is alternative now. But of course, it's like $3 more. I'm like, How are you
to
gonna
not have the shits, man?
from
Maybe.
$3? I don't get the shits, so maybe a
Acne.
pimple. Yeah. So there's that, but also like ice cream's hard. But I really don't eat unless it's like I'm at someone's house and they're like, oh, it's cake or whatever, cookie with ice cream, and all we have is dairy.
You're like,
But even then, I really won't. It's mostly okay. So let's look at cheese. So pizza, ranch. I'll never deny ranch. Like, ever.
ranch is really good.
Wingstop ranch, please. Red Robin ranch, yes.
We need to try the Hidden Valley, though.
I thought we did.
Plant-based ranch. I haven't.
I thought you bought it at the Vons the other day.
Did I?
And then we ate it. What did we eat? I don't think we ate anything that had ranch. I don't know. I thought, but maybe not. Anyways. So, yeah. It's really just dairy for me that kind of has been creeping in, and having cheese. Mm-hmm. It's just the vegan cheese, it doesn't hit the same.
I would say they're getting not there. All of them, but yeah, some of them. Like the ricotta. Oh yeah, the ricotta is good. The Kite Hill ricotta is so good. I honestly almost prefer it more than regular cheese, like ricotta cheese. Interesting. But I don't know. And just because it hurts my stomach eventually. Anyway.
Something else about that. More than just the texture and the taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about you though? How's your...
Yeah, mine's been a journey. I've been really sitting with... Well, let me start with just like plainly saying that I'm eating cheese again. I think we've talked about it like briefly, maybe.
I think maybe in Vegas story time we talked about you having cheese at In-N-Out.
Oh, yeah. Was that my like downfall?
Not the downfall.
Anyway.
I think that was one of the big times. I think you'd had In-N-Out cheese prior, though. I think In-N-Out was your downfall.
I think In-N-Out was my downfall. It was.
She's a California girl.
I've been having cheese lately. Like dairy in like other aspects. Like if there's a pastry now and it has dairy, I'm eating that shit up. Yeah, so I was vegan for like about 4 years. Before that, I was pretty much vegetarian. I would have like fish here and there, mostly like just sushi, but I didn't have sushi like very often either. So it was pretty easy for me to transition to like veganism. Mm-hmm. And Logan was vegan, and so like when we met, and so it was just like kind of like a no-brainer when we like lived together of like, I don't really need to be bringing cheese home. We'll just buy like the other stuff. Mm-hmm. And then it just became more of like a choice of like, okay, yeah, environmentally awful for the environment, like, okay. And then it just, the education of it all was really traumatizing.
Documentaries.
And I mean, I still stand by a lot of the things that like veganism stands for. For me, I think it's really come down to like, this is where like the intuitiveness, I guess, comes in of it all. Mm-hmm. Like for me, I've been realizing how restricting it's felt to be vegan. And in a sense of like, I already like I don't think I've ever had like a full-blown like eating disorder, but I feel like growing up I've like dabbled,
like
I would
had
say.
thoughts.
I've had thoughts, and I've had a lot of like shame and guilt around food. And I think like restricting myself with like veganism at first felt like a very healthy thing for me to do, of like I'm learning about what's like going into my body, and like I understand what labels are like meaning to say now, and like those things I really like love that I took on. But I think now it's become more of a thing of like I miss like having cultural meals, which I don't necessarily need to have meat, and I don't want to say never, I will never have it again, but I don't like the idea of like eating meat. Mm-hmm. Fish I could maybe get by, but it still freaks me out. It's just like I don't know how comfortable
like a texture
I am
thing too.
But it is some stuff that like I think about, like when I see it, I'm like, oh, that looks good. Don't know that I would actually like fully like go and like have a bite, but like I've been missing, like I said, like cultural meals, and I feel like Mexican meals have like a lot of cheese and dairy in it, and like a lot of like this, like you can make a lot of cultural meals vegetarian, which like I think and that's how I was kind of like already growing up with my meals, and so like that's kind of what I've missed, like being a part of the cultural moments. And my mom, of course, like she's so sweet and like constantly makes like vegan renditions of dishes and whatnot. But it's just more so like
Like for you, does it just not feel the same because it's not traditional, like to what you
it doesn't
experience?
really feel the
It's
same
not
for me.
Yeah.
It's great, and like I love, like my mom this last weekend is my dad's birthday, and she made us vegan birria, which like was really good. It was fine. It was delicious.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily need to have like real birria. That's fine, but like the beans and the rice, like they had to make it so specifically for us, and like it was just like, it's crazy that like it's so many details that need to be changed in order to make it like okay, which like again, like it's something that I think about often, of like I don't want to be like a nuisance of like meaning to change everything, but also like I wish I could just like walk into my mom's house and have like a bite of something, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's more so like how it's been feeling for me. Yeah, like I said, it's been feeling really restrictive, where like even when I go out to places like to dinners and stuff now, so more so like I can look at a menu and be like, what do I want to get, versus like,
what am I allowed to
these
get?
are the two options, or this is the one side plus this altered a little bit, you can have. Instead I'm just like, oh, I'll have this, you know. And like that's been such a different like switch in my brain, where like I think now, so more so like I've been, again, like with the thoughts of like not necessarily an eating disorder, but like I've been having a lot of guilt and shame over food because I feel so like heavy, you know, in my body. And like I think having this like less restriction allows me to feel more in control of like, doesn't have to be so like cut and dry with everything.
Yeah, I think there's probably a really big like shift, you were saying, in feeling like what I'm allowed to eat versus like I'm gonna go somewhere how everyone else does and decide what I want to eat,
right?
Instead of it being like, no. I
think for like the first 4 years of being vegan, like it was fine for me to be like, hey, I'll put these 3 sides together and that's my meal. But it doesn't feel good. It's not
anymore. Even like depending on the place, it could be literally the worst things you could eat.
Right, like it could be like French fries and another side of potato, like a different potato, or like, you know what I mean? It's just, it's not.
And like fried
enough.
Brussels sprouts. Like you're like, that's not a meal.
But even the Brussels sprouts, I have to ask them to cook it in oil and not butter. You know what I mean? Or they have cheese. Like it's the fact that I have to alter and I have to really like dissect a fucking menu instead of just like being, I want this, maybe like do this, but like you know what I mean? It's just it's felt so restrictive for me. And also going to like a whatever cafe, knowing that I can probably get oat milk anywhere in fucking LA, but not everywhere has like vegan pastries. Or they have like, I'm constantly searching for the fucking VG everywhere, or the V, and I'm like, holy fuck, like to just like pick out a fucking pastry has been so crazy. Like it's literally so simple, but it's crazy.
Do you feel like going to like vegan restaurants or vegan cafes, do you feel like the way you're looking for, like in terms of being like, I can just have whatever I want?
It's just like I have whatever I want. But there's not a lot of places.
It's not enough to be like satisfied, obviously.
It's like, but then I like end up going to the same place because that's what I like want to feel. You know what I mean?
I mean, I guess it's also, I literally yesterday just saw this video of this. It was so random. This woman has celiac disease, and she was talking about how she orders and like how specific she is. It's like, obviously she has a condition, so she has to live this way. For you, it's a choice. For the most part, you know, like there's things that happen to you if you eat whatever, but like for her it's like, I guess her organs can shut down. So it's like, but the questions she has to ask, and everywhere she goes I'm like, God, it's so exhausting. Which I'm like, eating intuitively must feel so different when you have something that is literally restricting you physically. Like you have no choice. Like that's probably how you're feeling though. Like you felt like you had no choice.
I felt like I had no choice. And, like, I'm tired of having no choice.
If you don't
Especially
have to,
with I'm eating, it felt like, okay, like, I don't know. I think it got kind of, like, worse when, like, I started to work for the company that I'm working for. Because, like, we have company, like, lunches often. And it's like, hey, where do you guys want to order from? And it's like, they'll be like, oh, let's order from Earth Cafe. Because, like, they usually have, like, healthy stuff. And, you know, they'll probably have something for Melissa. And I'm like, actually, they don't. Like, they have nothing that's fucking vegan, even though it says Earth Cafe. And I'm like, I hate having to say, like, no, don't order from there because of this and that, you know?
Because of me or whatever.
And now, now I'm just like, yeah, like, that's fine. I'll order a salad. And if I don't want the cheese, I'll just ask them for no cheese. But I won't care about what's in the dressing or, like, you know what I mean? Or the croutons have milk. Like, I don't have to necessarily, like, focus and be so specific and restrictive. Like, it's felt more restrictive than it has felt freeing for me, versus, like, I think in the beginning veganism really felt freeing for me.
It was a lot to explore. You're like, wow, I get to figure out what else there is to eat.
Exactly. And I think also, like, coming from, it's funny because, like, now as an adult, I was like, okay, so when I started doing, like, veganism, I was leaving. Also, like, it was such a primitive time of my life where, like, pivotal, that's the word.
For a second I was gonna let it go. I was like, yeah, then I was like maybe I should correct it if I'm thinking it.
It was very, like, prime time.
Yeah, that's what you're going for.
Important time in my life where, like, I was leaving home. And so I think there was a lot of emotions attached to veganism for me.
You said
where, like,
buy home.
It was like I'm exploring myself as well, where like I remember being at home and, like, my mom, she's always been very kind and very, like, adjusting to things, but it was like I had grown up eating only what she wanted me to eat, kind of a thing. Or, like, this is the meals she would make, and that's all she could make, and that's fine. She obviously gave us a lot of options, for sure. My mom would make, like, fucking 3 different dishes every day. She was nuts.
Insane.
But still, it was, like, 3 dishes that she knew how to make, and 3 dishes that were mostly, like, Mexican and had dairy most of the time. And so for me, it was like, it was more so like, I'm leaving the house. I'm having to cook for myself. I don't want to cook meat. I don't want to be doing these things. So it felt like such a big shift that was, like, important to me. And now I'm, like, not necessarily trying to go back home, but like, I'm trying to find my identity as a 26-year-old, and a lot of it has to do with, like, my culture. And I don't know, you know what I mean? It's like I'm having to really explore that again.
It was more like you didn't want to, like, get rid of it, but it was just like I can relate to this, knowing what my parents would cook and make or whatever. And since I stayed at home, it was more like, I'm gonna introduce new meals myself. But I started cooking in college for my family. Like, I started getting paid to make meals, like, twice a week or something in college, because my mom hates cooking. So and I was like, whatever, I'll cook. And so I would explore. I was fucking learning how to grill. So, like, in my version of that, I guess, I wasn't exploring veganism, but I was exploring other ways to cook things, and, like, seasoning and, like, different methods of cooking things. And then now I'm also kind of forcing my mom to teach me how to make more things that she hasn't showed me how to make from our culture. Like, she keeps fucking talking about these tacos that my grandma used to make and has refused to make them. I'm like, not literally refused, I'm being dramatic. She's gonna listen to this and be like, I didn't refuse. But they just haven't. Her and my Nina are, like, the ones that apparently have to collaborate to figure out what the recipe is. But yeah, I think there's just, like, a lot of distancing you want to do when you get older. Because you're like, I'm tired of that. Like, I spent 18 years or whatever eating that.
For me, it's also, like, I never liked meat, and so they were, like, constantly being like, here's meat dishes. And I was like, fuck.
I said, you're gonna love it.
And I would, like, eat around shit. So, like, it was just, like, a different experience, for sure.
I don't know how we got in that circle of veganism. That's how.
Yeah.
So now you eat cheese.
So that's where I'm at. I haven't dabbled in eggs or, like,
but
anything
you're considering.
Else. Yeah, like, Logan and I will buy Harley eggs. They're from a specific, like, farmer's market booth that is so like fancy. No, like, it's like a no,
like hormone cage-free type.
It's not even like, it's no labels. It's just like they're able to, like, freely roam. They don't kill them. Yeah, it's a no-kill, like, place. I think it's called Chicken Hood. It's really cute. But they're very vibrant and, like, different colored eggs. So, like, you know that they're, like, natural. And we buy them for Harley. And I've been, like, soft boiling them and just, like, giving it to her. And I'm like,
Usaka, eat this.
Like, a hard-boiled egg, I think those were the only types of eggs and scrambled eggs that I really liked. Like, I don't like the...
Over easy?
No, I don't like the juiciness of it all.
I didn't like it till a little later in life.
So maybe that's the thing.
Yeah.
But like, so like a hard-boiled egg, like I loved deviled eggs. They were,
deviled eggs.
I love them.
So bad for you, but so good.
So good. But like, I'll think about things like that and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds really good. But I don't know. And I think also for me, it's like my partner, Logan, she has really bad egg allergies. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just like so wary of even putting it into my body because I'm scared of like the reaction that she had. And I'm like, if you haven't had eggs, I wonder if I'll have like a fucking reaction like that. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's in my brain really.
I mean,
but again, that's probably why I don't want to put it in my body because I'm not comfortable with the idea yet.
Yeah, it's less like you don't want to eat it in the way you with meat.
Yeah.
It's more like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I mean, you were kind of scared about cheese too. But you were like, I love cheese. I need to take the leap. I gotta do it.
You know, the one thing I still haven't had, those hot Cheetos, because I'm like, it's gonna be a never-ending game for me.
You're just gonna always have them?
Yeah. And so I can't.
I honestly don't really eat hot Cheetos anymore. Or like, honestly.
Maybe I need to have them. Maybe they're not that great. I used to think that about like the grilled cheese from In-N-Out. And every time I have it, I'm like, this was not worth it. I feel so bloated and so disgusting.
Yeah, I mean.
So I'm like...
It's just it's like cheese between hamburger patties.
Like maybe if like something like we're drunk and like
yeah,
like again like in Vegas that was fine.
Yeah. But
on some like random night I'm not gonna go and drive to In-N-Out.
But now you'll put spread on it too, right? Cause...
Oh yeah, now I do. Now I do. That technically has egg, but see like I can't see the egg. Like
so you're probably not allergic then, dude.
Yeah, right? Because like mayonnaise is egg.
Yeah, I think I'll
be fine. Yeah. But I don't want to see. I'm still scared though. A whole egg is different.
Yeah, maybe just take a little nibble out of the white.
But that's where I'm at now. I'm mostly plant-based. I think now I'm just going to say I'm vegetarian because it's...
Oh, really?
It's more true to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think there's also something to be said about being comfortable with, like, changing how you eat. Also, and not having to label it. I don't think you need to label how you eat. Like,
no, I guess not.
And, like, if someone was to be like...
Maybe I should just
you're
say
coming
I don't
somewhere,
eat meat.
I'd be like, she doesn't eat meat.
Yeah.
That's it.
So you're vegetarian? I just don't eat meat?
Yeah. Technically.
I mean, know, man.
Yeah. I think there is just, like...
See, like, the thing is, like, I really want to try oysters.
I have.
I don't know that they're going to be delicious, but it feels
it's like an experience.
It feels like a personality fit for me.
I think it would.
You know what I mean?
I think you need to start having, like, martinis and oysters.
Right?
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I think... it's a never-ending journey, and everyone always makes you feel so guilty.
Yeah.
Like, my family's always like, oh, that has cheese in it. I'm like, okay, well, today I feel like fucking trying that because that looks delicious.
Like, this is indefinite. Like, why do you have to put me in a box?
But they put you in a box because they change how they eat at a party because of you. You know what I mean? Like, we're not going to put cheese on it because Sam doesn't eat cheese or whatever. I'm like, if I was deathly allergic to it, you wouldn't be complaining.
Literally, though.
But I get it. It's a choice.
It's a choice.
Like, when it is a choice, it's kind of
annoying,
But
it's a choice that is still, like, harmful cheese. Like, if you eat, you know what I mean?
Interesting concept. As society, we're okay with limitations of other people's lives when they do it to themselves, not by choice. But when it's a choice, it's like
that's on them.
Yes. You know, it's very much like losers. I mean, that I guess that's why you kind of have to be flexible when it's a choice. You know what I mean? Because then it's like, yeah, I get it. We're ordering pizza. That's the thing that always fucking gets me. It's pizza. It's pizza. Everyone just says, oh, pizza's easy. Let's order pizza. I'm like, In-N-Out's easy too.
Pizza is easy.
I know it is.
And that's the fucked part of it all. You know what I mean? I'm like,
and some
like I'm gonna and Logan keeps saying like, why don't like you've been eating cheese like every once in a while, like you've been wanting Domino's for so long. Why don't you just order yourself a Domino's cheese pizza? And I'm like, it's too far. I can't eat a whole fucking pizza by myself.
No,
I'll probably have a slice or two. Like, can someone else order it and then I will go and have some?
Yeah,
someone throw me a pizza party.
Go to, like, Sbarro's at Castle Long Beach. I don't think we ate there once.
My girl.
I do like Domino's better than Pizza Hut.
Absolutely.
My dad, I think, like, I don't know.
Everyone has
their fucking preference. Everyone has their fucking preference.
I love the wings at Pizza Hut.
See, like, I've never gotten wings.
See, like, chicken is like, oh no. It's, like, I think about it, but I'm like... Wingstop.
Chick-fil-A.
And, like, boneless chicken wings, just in general. That looks great, but I can't. Like, every time I watch Hot Ones, I'm like, Wow.
Well, you could do the vegan. The vegan ones on Hot Ones look pretty good.
They do, actually.
That's also the thing. They got to step up their game at the market. At the grocery store, y'all need to be doing more for the vegans. I mean, they do. Don't get me wrong. It's probably a really big step up from the past even 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let alone 20.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I think to, like, fully encompass intuitively eating something is just making sure that you're in the right headspace of, like, not guilting yourself, not making yourself feel like shit for what you're eating. If you're gonna, like, if you're going to indulge, have fun with the fucking fact that you're indulging.
Yeah. There's just so many healthy habits and things that check you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like it's so vague to be like, if you were to listen to this episode but you have really unhealthy thoughts about eating or about food in general, it could be really hard for you to even grasp this information.
Grasp it, yeah.
Which I get. It's like, what do you mean, like, when I'm eating, it feels good, or, like, I want to tell myself I deserve this? Because maybe you have thoughts that you don't deserve it, or you're a piece of shit for eating. Because, like, trust me, I have those thoughts too. I'm like, you don't deserve to be eating this. What makes you think you can have this? We tell each other all the fucking time. Like, us, Logan, we'll all go out and we're like, one of us will be like, we should get a shake shit. And it'll be like, I'm feeling too ugly today to have one, or like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, just,
I didn't work out this morning,
exactly,
so I can't have one.
Exactly. And it's kind of like, obviously set boundaries. If you've had a fucking milkshake every day for the past weekend, maybe it's okay to not have one tonight.
Yeah,
because you're like, I don't feel good, I don't want to eat that. Fine. But, like, these unhealthy thoughts and habits, you gotta check your friends. We check each other all the time. And it's like, oh, can't put you in your place. But, yeah, I think if you're having a hard time grasping the concept, that's a lot to reflect on and to think about, and obviously get help bigger than our podcast, because we're not the experts. But hopefully this is, like, brought the idea forward to you in a healthy and positive way, where you don't feel guilty about wherever you're at in your journey of eating and food and figuring that out. Because I think it is lifelong. Like, you could decide to not be vegan tomorrow. I could decide I love cheese and I'm never going to eat anything but cheese.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
You can also decide the opposite of, like, overnight being vegan.
Yeah.
It doesn't, like, it's, I think you're also learning constantly about yourself, and your body's changing constantly. So you're just like figuring out what's working for you at whatever time it is that you're living life. Literally. So just be comfortable with, like, the changing aspect of it all. There's no need to be guilty about things. You can obviously, like, be more mindful, but there's no need to guilt yourself over literally food. Like, food is it's supposed to be something to be enjoyed, especially because we're not fucking living in a survivalist world. Like, you're not going and actually hunting. Well, maybe some of you are, but you're not going, for most of you, you're not fucking going and hunting your food because there's, like, a grocery store, babe. You're going to the grocery store.
Going to Target. You're going to Ralph's.
It's not a huge journey. There's no need to, like, make yourself feel like shit. But
yep, I think that pretty much wraps up our thoughts.
Yeah.
If you guys have anything else to mention, please comment it. Also, like, we're thinking about leaving YouTube.
Thoughts on that? If you're really on that platform to watch us,
let us know. We just feel like maybe the YouTube is pulling away from our engagement and just, like, spreading our followers, our audience too far apart that we can't be a community. So let us know. If YouTube's, like, a really big part, we will gladly stay on here. If you're on Spotify or Apple, then hello. We will not be leaving. Unless Spotify decides to reach out and give us exclusive podcasting, yeah. But anyways, we'll see you guys in Glowing Hour. Well, we'll be having a limoncello something. Don't know what it's called.
Okay,